you taken care of your daughter?
Credit cards. She doesn't have half of what she had in there, and it's not okay.
A major development in an 8 on Your Side investigation. The FBI has assigned another nonprofit to take over the Special Needs Trust of more than 2,000 disabled people from across the country. Good evening, I'm Keith Kate.
I'm Jennifer Lee. Thank you for joining us. The trusts had been managed at the St. Petersburg Center for Special Needs Trust Administration, where its founder is accused of stealing $100 million from his clients. The center is at the focus of a criminal federal investigation. Investigator Brittany Muller joins us now live, and she just spoke with the executive director spearheading the complicated transition.
Jen, Keith, that's right. CPT Institute says it has the most elaborate banking and trust administration system in the industry, and that's why the FBI selected them. Executive Director William Lindahl says the center's victims had been in a vacuum, not realizing what was happening to their money.
So you gotta wake up for me?
These are the families still living in agony as they search for answers.
And I hope they take the person and people that have done this or started this process accountable 100%.
The alleged theft of $100 million from the Center for Special Needs Trust Administration has left disabled people and their families with little or nothing left to provide for their future care.
Where did it go, and how was he able to just go in there and take it?
Victims like Elena span across 40 states, each trust account with different court supervision and orders and different state rules. 8 on Your Side has told you a dozen of their personal stories. But now the case is moving forward as a federal judge has shut down the center and has tasked CPT Institute with managing the remaining funds.
You have a right as a disabled person that you don't have to come to CPT. The FBI vetted us so that you knew you had a safe home, and given the timeline, they have a thing called an opt-in, so they have until November 22nd.
If families choose to opt out of CPT services, Executive Director William Lindahl says they'll still need to find another administrator because it's not as simple as terminating your trust. Court records show this began to unravel when center founder Leo Gavani loaned his own business $100 million and has not yet repaid it.
In your nearly 3 decades of experience in this industry, had you ever heard of this center or Leo Gavani?
Oh, yeah. We've crossed paths. We've been bitter competitors for the whole 27 years. So a lot of people put a lot of faith in somebody who had no reins and no oversight.
Lindahl can relate more than anyone. His brother is autistic and his other brother has degenerative neuropathy. And he developed malignant melanoma while working as a paramedic on a trauma flight team for premature babies.
My whole life has been preserving and protecting people for a living, and when I lost my sight, this was a way for me to still keep that mission in my life personally.
Lindahl says CPT is the only pooled trust administrator in the country that does not make money off clients' earnings or dividends. They don't share fees with any third party, and they're able to give clients a disbursement summary at any point, unlike the center.
How are you reassuring these vulnerable families that have been through so much and now they're terrified of the future? What do you say to them?
Transparency, transparency, transparency. The whole reason that this situation was allowed to happen is because this organization was never audited. Every year CPT is audited, and that auditing firm bypasses me as the executive director and reports directly to my board for transparency.
The Musinskis say there was never any transparency at the center. 10 years ago, they knew something was off when the center was not providing tax paperwork for their daughter Abby's trust.
We were just completely denied and refused, there. And then they finally filed an action against us to have us removed as trust protectors because we were questioning a lot about the money.
The egregious nature of this and the parts that have been shared with me are so disturbing that I'd say the last 6 months of my life have been more stressed than ever in the 27 years of doing this.
William Lindahl is a government benefit expert. He says it's not only the $152 million that was allegedly stolen from disabled people. He says the federal government and taxpayers have suffered here as well. There's so much more to this story.
Yeah. Obviously, the CPT went through some sort of a vetting process, though, because obviously they're looking at the past going, we can't have this happen again. So what took place for them?
Keith, even before contacting CPT, the FBI had done extensive research. We're talking about going through previous litigation, financial records, conducting interviews. And remember, that was an extensive process. And moving forward, it'll be even a longer process. And we're going to be here staying on it, watching as this all unfolds.
All right. Thank you, Brittany. Thank you. And if you have something you'd like Brittany to investigate, you can call the 8 on Your Side helpline. The telephone number is 1-800-338-0808.